Everybody should have a goal, mission of life that moves forward. Beautiful women have a magic power to attract attention to themselves, to influence public opinion. Beauty is able to do good deeds, to become an example for others. My goal is to make this world a little bit happier, to give faith, to inspire, to help those who are desired. Since childhood, I felt the necessity to see the real life, which is very different. It was important for me to understand people, their motivations, their values, to understand how life conditions influence their future and how it can be changed. When I was 15, with my parents, I went to Africa. Having a fairly prosperous life with happy childhood, I was deeply impressed to visit the poorest tribes of Kenya. Those memories will always be alive in my heart. I will never forget those children who survive in the open wattle huts, which walls made of manure, who fight with deadly diseases such as malaria and yellow fever. They don't have even the most basic joys of childhood, toys and sweets. In that time, my parents and I helped them. Then I understood I must start my charity work. When I was in Africa, there was peaceful time in Ukraine, and I didn't know that our children will also need extra help soon. I'm Ukrainian. Ukraine is a country in the center of Europe. Extremely strong, hardworking, sincere and selfless people live here. I love Ukraine for the unique beauty of its nature, cities and architecture. It's really beautiful. But now, there is something terrible and frightful in my country. A few years ago, I couldn't even imagine that this part of our history will touch everyone. This is a war on the east of Ukraine. People die every day there. Their houses are destroyed. Some cities are still under the fire of militants. Children suffer most of all. They will not forget the horrors of war soon. While they lived in the cellars, slept on the streets, saw the deaths of their relatives. I cannot judge the causes and consequences. Politicians and the military have to deal with the situation, and I'm obliged to do everything I can to help those children who live there or who have moved to the center losing everything. They shouldn't feel abandoned and worthless. Together with the National Committee of Miss Ukraine, I went to the zone of recent military operations in order to visit the rehabilitation center for disabled children and the large family that cannot leave that territory. I wanted to captivate kids who are there, engage them to normal life, give them a life force to forget everything as a bad dream, show that life goes on and they must be living better and go further. They have to believe in the goodness again, in the value of human life in our society. There are more than 70,000 orphans in Ukraine. Many of them become criminals in terms of distress, insecurity and war. I went to orphanages, rehabilitation centers and colonies of juvenile offenders to inspire kids with my power and energy, to direct them to the right path, to change their thinking, attitude to life, to instill the right values, to give advices. I came with professionals who shared their experience, their stories, told about different professions. I believe that it will help someone to find himself or herself, to create a dream. Sometimes a kind word or a right advice can change somebody's fate. I love to share my knowledge, experience and inspiration with the young generation. Children study very quickly. Every of them is really talented, clever and creative in his or her own way. But they need our help to develop their personal talents and skills. I gave free dancing lessons to the young Ukrainian dancers, organized trips of young musicians to international competitions, and helped them with modern musical instruments. Many of these children already have great achievements. I am sure when they become older and completely successful, they will help others as I did. Children cry in the same language. I believe that every kid should have a right for happiness, for childhood, for the future, warmth, affection and care. I want to become Miss World to help children who suffer in my country, in Africa and in the whole world. I feel their pain and realize I can make a difference.